Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. T-minus 1 week to BlizzCon. It's time for a new episode of Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. We're not recording during the HGC Finals. The HGC Finals are recording during our podcast. Hi, folks. I'm Garrett Weinzierl. He's Kyle Fergusson. We're back.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. In fact, I'm doing almost too good.
Oh?
I don't want to get myself too psyched, but I got to Diamond 4, which means since 2 weeks ago, I've been on a league a week kind of, go at it.
Nice. Just in time for BlizzCon to come and swipe it all out from under you.
Sure, yeah, get rid of everything we know.
Just kill your momentum.
Play for a week. It's fine.
Yeah, just kill your momentum entirely.
It's been interesting. Not only the three sort of parallels I have going on in my life. One is, putting in the time, the effort, figuring out the league. Now there's HGC going on. And then at night, I'm playing Dark Souls 3. And my wife is a Dark Souls 3 streamer, so she's good. She's so good. And these bosses, they destroy me. And I'm horrible at this game. And she sits there with that smug little smile on her face, knowing everything I'm doing wrong because she's all pro. So I have this excellent sort of reminder of what it's like to be a constant, horrible nub every night. Mirror that to currently training Jeff Kanata through Silver. We're using the caffeine real-time stream so I can join him in Hero League. We helped him to carry some games yesterday as support. And at the same time, I'm carrying with Uther. And I am flabbergasted. I'm blown away. I'm so excited. I noticed this week that Uther was receiving every middle ban in Diamond. And I thought, why? I mean, no one wants to fight him. Okay, that makes sense. But what if we first picked Uther, right? What if you got Garrosh and it got banned, of course, as it is right now, and you just first pick Uther? Well, you go on a 5-game winning spree. That's what you do.
Okay, so 3 weeks ago, Kyle Fergusson throws everything out, just like breaks it over his knee. None of it makes sense. I'm main in support. That's it. That's what I'm going to do. 2 weeks after that, nope, everybody, nope. Just disregard everything I said. Supporting doesn't get results. Going back to DPS. DPS is what works. And now this week, Cal, you're showing up to tell me that you were right the first time, but don't spread it out. Just main Uther.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be cute. Don't think about what the map is. Don't think about what the comps are. Just main Uther. And you've got yourself a bruiser, tank, and support all in one. You end up with no tank? Well, what the heck? Uther can do it. You end up with no other support? It's fine. He can solo support. Off support, Ana, whatever. It's the best double support after all. I don't have any really good reasons for you other than that Platinum had really bad assassins. Diamond 5 and Diamond 4 have pretty decent assassins, and their confidence is
weighing down their pants,
perhaps. Maybe they're not me, is what I'm saying. I don't play Greymane because when I dive in, I don't expect anyone to help me. So I end up playing this like range backline thing, too scared to go in. It's why I never took Malthael in the Hero League. But I'm surrounded by about 50-50 total nubs and complete badasses. And all I got to do in my game as Uther is decide by the time I hit 10, which one's the dumbass and which one's the good player and who's getting the Divine Shield. And that's how you win. That and having a stun on your kit.
All right, so you're winning because you're backing up the kill happy assassin that's actually getting work done.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So there's our through line. Because I want to say 2 episodes ago, you said, that's it. I'm just going deep. When they just keep pushing, I'm just going with them because backing off isn't working. I'm just going to go with them. So this is your through line. You're still going with them, but instead of going with them as an assassin, you're going with them as a support that keeps the assassins that are keeping the fight going alive.
And I noticed in myself, as I said, that I was really good at identifying this very skill, who on my team was the best and who I should support, but I was bad at identifying who on the enemy team was the best. Now with the CC of Uther and Stukov, if he's gone, I'm able to control that enemy while supporting the person on my side, and combining those two skills has been huge for me and made the game, frankly, a lot more fun because winning's fun, but make a lot more sense around me.
That's good. I'm really excited to hear that, man. That's fantastic. And also, I've never stopped loving Uther, so maybe I should just start ripping you off.
Holy shock, man! Holy, I'm serious.
That's my favorite way to play him.
Yeah. I'm not saying the full build. You're going to vary your 1. You're absolutely going to vary your 7, 13. I like Benediction too much, but, these things are going to happen.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
I just love having any sort of poke at that range on a support.
It's nasty. It's like, who needs the Genji, right? Like, Genji's just there to clean up the person that almost got away. You can just do that as Uther.
Yeah,
I'm simplifying here for comedic sake. But
of course. But my through line right now is Garrosh first pick, on to Uther if it's before the first 3, Artanis, actually, because of Garrosh. You got this sort of like swap-a-doo, move them around sort of thing. Everybody's looking for it anyway. And then Guillotine Zul'jin would be the backup there. And if we go beyond that, I'm lost. But for now, I'm good on those 4.
Rad. Well, that's badass, man. That's totally freaking awesome. I need to just go back to supports. It always used to work out for me. Should probably just start doing it again. Well, before we get into news, which mostly we're talking esports today, folks, because BlizzCon's right around the corner, so there's no news besides what's happening with HGC, which actually at the time of recording this, it's still going on. I have it open to the side so that maybe in the middle of the show we can call our second place winner for Group A. We'll see. Depends on how fast the rounds go. But before we get into that, we have a lot of BlizzCon announcements to make. And I'm going to start it off with a big announcement for me. I'm on a panel this year, Kyle.
You are? That's fantastic.
I'm kind of excited about that.
You should be.
So, folks, if you want to come see a Blizzard panel that I am on, you can head on over to the Epic stage, which is also known as the community stage, on level 2 of the North Hall, Saturday morning. So November 4th, if you're going to BlizzCon at 10 a.m., and I'm going to be on the Living Blizzard panel. It's going to be me and a bunch of other creators within the Blizzard space talking about how we got started and how we do what we do.
A bunch is modest.
Yeah. So Trade Chat is moderating it or hosting it, and then it's Day 9, Bloodshed, Trump, and Ammunition. Oh, and me. I just feel like I shouldn't be on this panel, but I'm super excited, and apparently I'm still a Day 9 fanboy because I knew this was happening for a while, and I was like, I'm fine, I'm cool, I can do this. And then I heard Day 9's on the panel. I'm like, oh god, I'm still a fan.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a good man to be a fan of.
Yep. So that's the panel. Again, called Living Blizzard, 10 a.m. Saturday morning at BlizzCon. It's on the schedule. You can go look it up right now on the website or on the app. And then, even if you are not going to BlizzCon, but you're local, or if you are going to BlizzCon and aren't local, we have our meetup again this year. It is not, and I repeat, it is not going to be at the bowling alley this year. We are breaking tradition, Kyle. We are taking a year off from the bowling alley, which we have been going to since 4 people showed up to a meetup for StarCast. What, 6 years ago? 6 years ago, I think.
Yes, 6.
Yeah, 6 years ago. And we're going to be having it at the Hilton as part of the Con Before the Storm event. It's going to be, it will still be the Thursday night before BlizzCon. It's going to start at 9 p.m. local time. It will run through midnight or until they kick us out in the Palos Verdes room on the 4th floor of the Hilton. It's going to be right next door to World of Podcasts, and there will be a cash bar in there. And if you don't want to come to it to meet us or meet really nice folks who listen to similar podcasts, you should at least show up because there's going to be a cash bar, and I'm sure the line will be immensely shorter than the one in the Hilton lobby. So come on by. It's the Move TV /Frog Pants meetup. Again, Thursday night, 4th floor of the Hilton, 9 p.m. start time. So come on over and watch me probably have at least one too many whiskeys.
Is that your plan to get through this whole thing?
Huh? No, man. Every Thursday before BlizzCon. It's bourbon night, man. Just keep the bourbon flowing. It's a good time. It's a good time. Oh, and for Into the Nexus listeners, we have a weird schedule next week. We're going to be recording our final pre-BlizzCon episode this upcoming Monday. I'm probably going to schedule it to release a little later, but if you are showing up for the live show in the chat room, after show games, or most importantly, if you want to get an email into this here podcast and talk about your hopes and your predictions for BlizzCon 2017, now is the time to do so, because Kyle and I are going to sit down Monday night, crack open that mailbag, and just go hog wild with being probably very wrong about BlizzCon for the last time. So send those emails to itncast@gmail.com.
Before BlizzCon. Not the last time ever.
Well, for the last time before BlizzCon 2017.
Yes, yeah, there you go.
Right, there you go. My bad.
People get scared, man.
Add that modifier in there. Yeah. So, but and also give yourself something to listen to while you're on the airplane to BlizzCon.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and just shake your head like that's not going to happen. These guys are morons.
I always fall asleep when the plane takes off, so I always miss my podcast, most of it anyway.
That's the best problem I've ever heard of.
Oh, it's so good. It's the one time the chair's actually reclined in any sort of fashion.
Yeah. I can sleep on planes, but not that easily. Not that easily. But I'm excited, man. BlizzCon, man, right around the damn corner. I saw, as I was walking in here to record the show, I saw Katie with the toilet trees look up at me and ask, "What the hell are you using on your hair nowadays?"
That means it's time.
That means it's time, yeah. When Katie asked me what I put in my hair, that's, it's happening. It's going down.
I agree. The hair is very important. It's a fascinating evolution of our nerddom, our public persona. It's like maybe Twitch infuses a bit of fashion into you. Just the very nature of being on camera long enough solidifies your hair into some sort of mind of its own beast. I mean, look at HGC. Everybody looks incredible. Everyone's beautiful. The suits are all fitted. The stage looks amazing. And I just heard today about this website. It's like Ancestry.com. You go there and you enter in all your information, and then they shoot you back what you should be wearing. Like, we need this. Not on the web. I mean, like, inside of Heroes. Nerds need this.
Wait, your clothes, or like we need the Heroes equivalent where just
like
here's your roster.
Like, you load up Heroes and you click the I'm gonna stream button, and then you pay 20 shards, and it tells you how to do your hair for the day.
Okay, I wasn't sure where you were going with that, but the answer was somewhere way more entertaining than anything I was considering. That'd be yeah, why not? Why not? That'll be our next podcast, Kyle. It'll be the fashionable nerds.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, it'd be a good time. Be a good time. Well, shall we talk some Heroes eSports?
Let's do that.
All right.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Can Stitches play now?
Yeah, I love it when... Oh, cigar fell in the... Oh, wait!
Thank you, Tychus. So, we were going to call this the HGC preview, and then both of us remembered in the middle of the day, oh, right, it's starting today. The HGC finals are still happening right now. Actually, CE and Tempo Storm are going into game 1 of the second time they've met up as of recording this. As right now, I have it open on the side. Don't even. Oh, Dahaka's been banned, Kyle. Dahaka's been banned.
Interesting ban, actually.
Yeah, it's on Warhead Junction.
Okay.
It's not that surprising.
He's having a hard time in the stats right now. You're looking at easily 40% on most maps for Dahaka in Hero League.
Yeah.
But that's HGC, and it doesn't necessarily abide to our Hero League understanding of things. I feel like this BlizzCon, of all the ones we've had, comes at one of the most interesting times for this to happen. In the past, we've gone into BlizzCon not really knowing what they're going to bring out. Instead, we have the opposite problem. We know exactly what's going to happen. We know that they're going to go double warrior, double support every darn game they can. And they currently, for the most part, are. It's interesting to see what order they choose to build it in. And for someone like Deadly Kittens, they choose to build it first with an Ariel, which just makes me go, oh, no! Have you not been in Hero League for the past month? But they're going to do whatever the heck they want. They're professionals, after all.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's so while we were filling out the notes today, you and I got in here and we put in our picks, including Group A before it started. I don't know, man. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm at least half wrong on Group A. We both picked MVP Black, right?
Can you be wrong with MVP Black?
No.
I mean, we're sitting here, that's going on right now. We may be wrong this very moment. But MVP Black showed up, and they didn't want to show anything at all. They led with a double warrior, double support. Notice I'm saying not double tank. I'm saying double warrior. And I know one of those is likely Sonya. So let's just skip the semantics and arguing, and we're just going to say double warrior today. It's the word Blizzard gave us to use to understand it. We're going to use the words we know.
Fill in the blanks for yourself.
Exactly. But they've led with the same comp basically every game because it's a group phase. Why would they show their fancy when they know with simple mechanics and rotations and smart play and level leads, they can destroy anybody they want? The big exception being that they ran a Butcher Tyrael, which won around 13 minutes. In fact, most of their games have been about 10 minutes. 10-minute Sky Temple, destroying your enemies like that.
That's just ridiculous. And it played out like a, I don't know, like kind of like a joke, or like if you had made a mascot or a perfect version of how in your head this would go down. That's how it went down. It was just, oh my God, this oppressive team just rocked the world.
It felt like a quick match in that way. Why do these guys have a 3-level lead? No one's been bottom the entire game. Well, every little soak and every little hit and every little hero death, that just adds up, and they don't let a single bit go. And I would love to have that. I can get through strategy, through execution. In my team league games, we get big level leads, but we tend to be a little excited and throw them away at a keep wall once in a while because it was fun. It's amazing to watch them, just the stranglehold that they have.
Yeah,
in that environment.
They give their opponents nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. It's that cheesy line from 300. Give them nothing, take from them everything. And that's exactly what MVP Black is doing.
It's a cool group, though. And can we like go back? We're talking about going back 7 years. Like, let's go back 7 years even and just say, this group phase is amazing. This is GSL StarCraft. This is the storyline that I want in a single day of esports.
Yeah, I get annoyed when I tune into other shows and everyone just agrees with each other, but sorry, that's what's going to happen on the subject of group stages. Because, yeah, you and I are predisposed, thanks to old StarCraft 2, which is funny they call it old now, GSL days, when it first got Garrett and Wings of Liberty, and we watched that all the way through basically the end of Heart of the Swarm. Group stages, that was the jam. We had, 4 nights a week where each night you had your own little mini esports story. You got to follow it through to the end. And I love me some group stages.
Well, and let's go and say the times on these things. These things are middle of the day. They're not the most convenient things. It's Thursday right now. It started at 11. It's still going at 5 in the afternoon Pacific. No. But this is happening Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this week at 11 a.m. Pacific and onward. And if you can take the time, if you're capable of sitting undisturbed through an entire one of these, any of these days, I think it's the best esports experience you could ask for. It is the most complete single day without being a finals final.
Yes. Yeah, you get a full package. You get a full storyline with rises and falls and upsets and blood, sweat, and tears. And also sometimes really obvious outcomes like what happened with MVP Black today.
Those are going to happen. There's going to be disparities, and we can only hope that the group phase allows the right teams to fight the right teams so we don't end up with 2 teams completely dodging each other with unknown skills getting the finals, and we just have a wash, and those happen.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, MVP Black just seemed to outclass everyone today by a rather large margin. And I'm not trying to take anything away from these professional teams, but the second MVP Black was kind of done, and okay, they're out of here. It's like the real games began. We started seeing much more equal power levels, to bring in Dragon Ball Z terminology, it seemed like. And it's like, okay, now we get to watch a game. We get to watch two teams go back and forth rather than just kind of get oppressed.
And we're talking business here, too. MVP Black has done its homework to build its audience. So we're all really excited in the first place to see them. It's a well-established organization. They know how to do hype correctly. On the flip side, not incorrectly, you got Tempo Storm, who's also captured the imaginations, particularly of NA.
Yeah,
I love their team photo where they're doing like this hand grab huzzah kind of thing. Everyone else is just crossing their arms, but these guys are getting down like a boy band. It is a good picture.
Yeah, no,
Made
absolutely.
me believe.
And they're who I'm pulling for. I mean, they did not fare well against CE earlier today, so they're heading into the final round of today, back up against CE. So we'll see what happens. But still, I'm still holding out hope for them that maybe now after winning a round that they're coming in with the irons hot and they're ready to strike.
Let's talk a little bit about what happened today. This is going to cause a meta shift. Regardless if you wanted to or not, there are people who are learning right now by watching the stream hard and fast rules, and they're going to carry those into their league. I saw a great picture yesterday. It was an illustration of a thought process. In fact, the thought process was imposter syndrome. The idea that people can feel like they're out of place. They feel like everyone around them knows way more than they do. But that's false. Actually, people know everything they know, and they know a little bit about that. And they know a little bit about this. But when we only know a little bit about a thing, we love that factoid we grab onto. I mean, I had this guy in my chat the other day. I picked Artanis into a Varian, and this guy was adamant that I could not be more wrong. Fury Varian with the shield break talent was going to destroy me, and I ruined the team. What an odd thing to focus on, but we all have these experiences that we bring together.
So, what's your point, Kyle? What hopeful world are you putting us into after
today,
that?
real quick, because people are going to take it very seriously, whether or not MVP Black was truly showing what they want to bring to the finals.
All right, can I lead with my single largest concern?
Yes.
My single largest concern is a solo carry meta. I'm fine with double warrior. I'm fine with double support, but both at the same time leaving room for just one high damage hero. That is in a pickup game environment. I don't care how you want to slice it. That is a risk.
It's interesting, right? When we look at something like Deadly Kitten's goal in the first 3 picks, it's almost to get Lucio Regar every single time. But when we look at that perhaps in a vacuum where we're sort of having a thought experiment, it's nice to think, wow, like that cleans up, doesn't it? You don't need a Zeratul sniping the back line, getting in there and getting in the thick of it, when you can just have a team fight and have Lucio and Regar be the ones that chase everyone down to death. And so they can't get away after the tanks absorb it all.
Yeah, it's funny, right? It's like this. It's like the Raptors chasing people down in Jurassic Park. You just send them off like, okay, we've done our part. Unleash the healing hounds.
We all absorbed it. Maybe a tank died. Maybe they managed to get rid of the assassin, but we got rid of theirs, and now we have this pursuit group behind them.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of people comboing Stukov with Tassadar, actually. And Stukov's win rate right now is bad. Really bad. That poor health nerf really did a toll on the guy in such a heavy dive meta, down to 46% in our own hero leagues right now. But they're adding a Tassadar on top of that, so that he can still get in there, get a big melee heal out, actually, if he gets the shield for survivability. But mostly it just pads out that lack of catch that he has for those dives.
Yeah. But again, this is something that I'm not sure would work as well in an uncoordinated environment.
Tassadar Morales, lots of Tassadar, but they're being comboed with our new rework supports and newer supports, so they're very unique. I think the funniest thing for me was seeing a Lucio Brightwing. Just You're overdoing it a little point at that point, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking we need some area effect heals, but I'd like some area effect heals with those.
Yeah, but I can totally see how we got there though. If we're in this world where we all accept double support, like double support, cool. And we already talked about the beautiful aggression of Lucio in the right hands. So instead of going double aggressive support with a Rhaegar and a Lucio, why not go aggressive and defensive support? Because you got the Emerald Wind off of Brightwing if things go south, and if things go right, you've got the Lucio to go ahead and make things go more right.
At the time of starting this show, and that may change, Stukov Medivh is the only non-double support game that is played today. I think there may have been just a few minutes ago a solo Stukov game, but that's the world we're in. We're Stukov, and then you bring in Medivh. And Medivh about the only specialist we've seen for the entire day. I mean, you can get kind of weird and think, oh, well, Dahaka maybe fills that role, or there was a Cassia today, there's Ragnaroses, there's Guillotine Zul'jin, there's Tracers. But we're not seeing Asmodean, Nazebo, anyone like that. Greymane is kind of the go-to lane clear, along with Malthael? Malthael's and Dahaka are having a really tough time.
Yeah, Malthael's seeing picks, but he didn't seem to really be working out today.
I mean, my biggest problem with Malthael is, hey, I want to fight you. And you throw the wave at him, and if you hit, they already know you want to fight. And if you miss, well, you suck, and you don't get to fight. That's my problem, is everyone's ready for Malthael by the time you engage.
And it's not a fast-moving skill shot.
No.
It's like the slowest rollout of the poisonous red carpet. So
Ana's seen quite a bit of play, and it's mostly been alongside of Uther, which I think makes plenty of sense, though she has paired up with a Rhaegar as well.
Yeah, because why have one support that can stop you dead in your tracks when you can have two?
Control seems to be very important, and which is why I think Uther, even in these games, Uther was receiving the secondary ban. I really encourage so many people out there that if you're in the first 3 picks, Uther is prime right now.
I agree with you, because you were talking about this earlier this week, just off air when you and I were playing. You're like, yeah, Uther, mid picks, and then today Group A kicks off. What are we seeing? Mid ban Uthers.
Got to get him early. Let's talk about the tanks that have been happening today.
A lot of
I
Johanna.
mentioned the Butcher Tyrael 13-minute victory.
Yeah, that's okay. So there's an outlier. I've been surprised.
Tempo Storm is running the other outlier. They are obsessed with Malthael at the moment, and they're using ETC alongside him.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to say, right? We're talking just today. There haven't been that many games played, but Tempo Storm has brought Malthael into, it looks like, at least quickly going through this, into 4 games, and have only won 1 game where they took Malthael in.
They did, however, win their game where they completely neglected all of their range DPS and went double support ETC and then a Malthael Kerrigan. And it actually wrecked because they were so focused on being in their face the entire time.
Yeah. That
was hard, though. Don't do that at home.
No. I'm not even sure I want to try that with you on comms.
It's perhaps not really worth it.
Yeah.
Honestly, the most effective things we've seen all day have been Sonya comms. Sonya ATC, Sonya Muradin, Sonya Johanna. These are all doing really well. Probably the tankiest tank thing that we've had today is a Garrosh Muradin. There's always going to be one sort of off bruiser, Johanna Dahaka, but anything with Dahaka is just kind of losing right now, and we're seeing that at home too. He seems to live and breathe by the map pool, and perhaps in the pro scene they can really restrict down those Dahaka maps, knowing which players on the enemy side are the Dahaka players.
Sell me on Johanna Sonya, because the second I saw that, I was just like, how are you going to control anything?
Tough to do because they lost.
Okay.
So I can't help you out too much there.
Oh, that's right. I think it was only 1 game we saw that, right?
Right, and this was the verse Tyrael double support. I mean, I kid you not. This is Tyrael, Butcher, Rhaegar, Morales, and a Tracer. Like, where do you put your thought process? Go just dive Morales. Just get the Reg, kill the crud. It's over.
Guys, it's a butcher, and we just haven't seen one. We don't know what to do.
Minutes. It was impressive. It ran amok. Stukov, Tassadar, Johanna, Sonya, Vala, they couldn't do a thing about it. And they even forced themselves across the top bridge on Dragonshire for a little bit. Like, that's how hard MVP Black was just steamrolling forward.
My favorite tweet that we got all week about last week's episode was Bridge Don't Care.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we can tie that back in.
And we also, I mean, to the credit of our patrons, we got wrecked right after our show last week because they executed the exact strategy we talked about on the show on Dragonshire.
I've never been less angry to lose so hard because I was just like,
it was kind of flattering.
Oh, they're wrecking us with what we just talked about. For all I know, they didn't listen. They just showed up for the after show games, and they already knew that ahead of time. But I like to think that they were like, Garrett and Kyle, we appreciate your show. We're going to take your strategy and whoop your butt with it.
If you're walking away from today's group wanting to know the hard and fast rules, there are a few you can glean here. Double support is great. Lucio Rhaegar has something going on that we all need to figure out. My favorite I learned is that if you let Garrosh through the ban, you shouldn't invest in those cute things like Leoric or Malthael. You just go Kel'Thuzad. Because if he loses his health in a big chunk, he doesn't have armor for the burst chunk. So burst him down. And we could have guessed that, but we've all been trying these cute things. This worked quite well. It was Tomb of the Spider Queen, which is my favorite Kel'Thuzad map for one. So I think it had some really good map synergy there. But that's an important note. And if we can start to figure that out, we can come out of the sustain a little bit, bring about a counter burst meta to Garrosh, and actually start recovering those games.
Yeah, this was the final game just before we went live, right? Between Tempo Storm and Deadly Kittens.
Correct.
Yeah, because Kel'Thuzad was their main damage. It was Sonya, it was Rhaegar, ETC, Malfurion, Kel'Thuzad against Deadly Kittens, Garrosh comp, and they did work. And it was funny because it was finishing up as we're prepping for the show, and I'm like, man, I love that we saw 2 Lava Wave Ragnaroses today. And I was kind of half paying attention, then I look over, and Deadly Kittens loses, and I'm like, well, I guess we're 50-50 for the...
But we still saw 2 Lava Wave Ragnaroses today, yes.
The Lava Wave Ragnaroses,
still
yeah.
True.
Yeah. I don't think anyone was as excited as Trixler was. Trixler was on the Lava Wave hype train.
I think you at home should be.
Yeah.
XP is a powerful thing.
Yeah, we were... never mind. Nope. Saving that for strategy. Zip my lip. You knew what I was going to say.
Oh, I know. We'll get there.
Strategy today, though, is real goofy, guys. We're gonna have some fun with it. Enjoy. So, yeah, I mean, that's HGC as far as we know it. It's just started up. Group A hasn't even wrapped up yet. And as Kyle already mentions, we have 3 more groups across the next 3 days. It's a huge weekend for Heroes Esports. Treat it like, like football playoffs or Super Bowl, man. Invite some friends over, throw some wings in the oven, really yuck it up. It's a good time.
I mean, so many of these are based on what teams you want to catch up on. I think Saturday's looking great. I, of course, have a stake in Roll20 just because I love Dungeons & Dragons, and that's a tabletop website sponsoring an esports team in the game I love, so that just tickles me. But if you got to check one thing for the entire weekend, you only have one day to watch this. I'd say Sunday with Ballistics. They're incredible. Team Expert. You got the Chinese regions fighting in there. Basically, Sunday is madness. It is 4 different regions smacking together, and they're not going to know what each other is cooking. And I am so excited for Sunday.
No, they're not. And actually, real quick, let's go through Group B. Who are your 2 picks?
I think Fnatic just is really fancy, but Team Freedom has the wombo combo kind of attitude that makes them take games they don't deserve. I'm not being mean there. I'm just saying that, sometimes you play the map and you do a great job, and then they just wombo you and you lose.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, mine is my pick is Fnatic, and I have no idea beyond that. I think the other 3 teams are fairly evenly matched in Group B.
Friday looks really even. Good looking group.
Yeah. Group C?
Group C, like I said, I'm hoping for new blood. I want Roll20 to do well. Dignitas, always solid. It's not a happy group for Roll20, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, Dignitas is, I think everyone's pick to just stroll right out of there. But it's going to be hard for anyone. But I'm going Dignitas and Roll20. It's a little Roll20. It's hopeful, but I really want to see them make it through. And then Group D, Kyle.
Former champions, Ballistics. I loved watching them at BlizzCon last year. I'd love to see them on the stage again. They brought lots of cute things and great execution.
In your second pick?
I have no idea. In this case, I really don't know them well enough, but that's what I'm so excited about, is all these regions being blobbed together for madness sake.
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with these teams either, besides Ballistics, so I think everyone here is picking Ballistics, and I think rightfully so. If today is anything to go on, it's go with the obvious picks. And I'm thinking I'm leaning towards Team Expert for my second pick for Group D.
And we're really close. The amount of content that HGC has been putting out with the player interviews, the articles, interviewing the team captains, we're almost there. We're almost to the point where I feel like I know these guys, but I don't this BlizzCon. And that is a failure, perhaps, of Blizzard, of the esports organizations. It's hard to tell. I want that connection to them, though. I want to know who they are. I felt that with Cloud9 in the past.
Yeah, no, but I think it's better than it's been. Like
Totally.
I feel like MVP Black, Tempo Storm, Fnatic, Dignitas, Ballistics, Roll20. I feel like I know those teams fairly well. Not to the degree of something like Cloud9 back in the day, but close.
I simply don't know the players. There's a lot of subs floating around here.
Yeah.
And some of them are, looking to maybe shake things up, maybe take the win, but also means that things like maybe Team Freedom or other teams aren't going to perform as well as they possibly could.
Yeah, and it's a hard call, right? I mean, that's part, like Group D, I think I'm leaning towards Expert because SPT is having to deal with the visa issues. But
it's a safe bet if you're a gambling man.
I don't know. I've read a lot of articles this week that completely disagree. So I think it's anyone's call for most of these. I think Group A was the most kind of one-sided looking matchup, and I think it's only going to get better from here. And that's exciting.
That's interesting. Someone in the chat mentioned that maybe they should wear numbers so we can kind of keep track of them a little better.
I'd love
like
that.
Players in sports.
Or real names. I've been lobbying for real names in esports for a very long time.
Yeah, I use my real name on Twitch, and it's fine when I'm streaming because that's my house. But anytime I go say hi to anybody else, I feel like a real jackass showing up with my real name. Only guy in there who's not butt tickler.
Maybe you shouldn't feel like a jackass if that's what you feel like a jackass about.
Hey, maybe, right?
Yeah.
If that's my competition, my jackassery is not in question.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Tempo Storm is up 1-0. They've halfway redeemed themselves after getting 2-0'd by CE earlier today. Woo!
Sweet.
Go Tempo Storm. You can do it. I believe in you. All right. Let's talk about the future. But stay and talk about HGC because Blizzard released the plans for HGC's 2018 season. And things are not changing too much, but they're changing enough to be awesome. First and foremost, the thing everyone seems to be the most excited about, if you somehow missed this, all HGC matches next year will be live streamed at 1080p and at 60 frames per second. Hell yeah. Can't wait to put this on the big screen.
The stage looks great. They're in the new HGC stadium, office. It doesn't have an audience. There's no way for you to go inside of it if you're not an employee or a player. But it's really nice. And you can see what the future next year is going to look like already.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job. I've actually met one of the gentlemen that works for the company that puts together those stages and the lighting specifically. They do some very good work. I believe it's the same group that did the Overwatch Arena last year at BlizzCon.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they kill it. I don't know if I'm allowed to actually mention them by name or not. That's why I'm being coy. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But I've met them before, and they do amazing work. All right, so for next year, first week of league play is going to kick off on January 26th. 32 teams across China, Korea, Europe, and North America are competing. That is 8 teams per region. over the course of 10 weeks of competition leading into the midseason brawl. 5 weeks into that 10-week stint will be the Eastern and Western clashes. So for Eastern, we're having Korea and China face off, and in Western, we're having Europe and NA face off. And then just repeat this entire process for the second half of the year, except instead of ending in the midseason brawl, it's ending in the finals.
Seems like a more clear through line.
Yeah, that's easy to wrap my head around. We are having a unique twist next year, though. Clash winners, so winners of the clashes, are going to open up additional spots for another team from their home region at the midseason brawl or at the HGC finals, which I think is kind of super cool and also odd when you think of U.S. sports where there's no camaraderie between teams whatsoever.
Right. Can you imagine? Like, oh, they did it.
Yeah.
They won the Super Bowl, but also so-and-so gets a star.
Let's pull up the map. What's the next closest team to them? All right. They get the highest. I don't know. But whatever. So Blizzard used L5's Eastern Clash win as an example. So this was back in August. So had this rule been in place in 2017, the HGC finals would have added a fourth team from HGC Korea along with the three that qualified this year.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think that's really cool.
I think it's a great way to avoid limiting the best just because of region.
I think it's good for how excited we're going to get from a home team region-based kind of fandom. Because
we're already getting scared a little bit about, BlizzCon at the end being lame if the brackets work the wrong way. Can you imagine what you're basically saying here is, listen, X region was so amazing that we're not only going to take the winners, we're going to take more of them so we can keep having the best games possible, rather than saying just 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and having it be a stomp.
Yeah. No,
the more I think about this, the more I love it.
Yes, yeah. So I'm already excited. And then we're getting wild card slots. So Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, and Taiwan will now have a dedicated tier of competition that awards a trip to both the midseason brawl and the HGC finals. They're going to be broken into Eastern and Western. So the Eastern wild cards will be Southeast Asia and Taiwan, and the Western wild card will be Latin America and Australia/New Zealand.
Excellent.
Yep. And then finally, multi-language streams for NA and Europe HGC are going to be offered. They didn't specify. They said that closer to the 2018 seasons, that is something that interests you to tune in. They'll be announcing the specific language offerings closer to the kickoff of the new season.
Excellent.
Sounds.
All we really need to do is layer this now. I want Twitch to take up the slack of a lack of an in-game viewer. I want a button at the bottom that lets me choose what language and ultimately which caster duo I'm listening to.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But do you see a world where they start offering multiple casters in the same language?
Well, right. I mean, it gets complicated pretty quick. Right now, they're all spread across different channels. And people, when it comes to esports, are always talking numbers. How many viewers? LOL, this is the finals, and it's only 13,000 or whatever. If we took all the multi-languages and piled them up, do we get a better number? Thanks to technology.
Don't know. We'll see. But Blizzard seems to really be doubling down on Twitch. I'm not sure how much do you think it is? They're legitimately like, yeah, Twitch, go, which most people are. I'm not saying that's unlikely. Versus, it's really hard to put in-game spectating into these games. So let's go with the other most popular option.
I'm happy to see them move away from Facebook.
Did they really move in? I think they dipped their toe, made us all pretty grumbly. And then immediately was just like, you know what? No, never mind. Let's just back to Twitch,
Forget
everybody.
About it. Yep.
Everybody back to Twitch.
Never happened.
And the other night, I was flipping through Disney XD, where I usually watch Star Wars Rebels, and that's it. And HGC was on, and I sat there and watched a full round, even though I had already actually seen that round because it was a rerun from the previous weekend, but it was still cool to see it on Disney. And it translates surprisingly well with commercials, which I realize has already been done multiple times on ESPN, and I shouldn't be surprised, but it's been a while since I've watched it on traditional cable.
Nice.
Yeah. It's working out. Disney XD's really cool right now. They're showing that. They're showing Overwatch. And Star Wars Rebels is back. And who doesn't love Star Wars?
They were just the Power Rangers channel last I saw them.
Yeah. Apparently the DuckTales reboot's really good, too.
I've heard that. And it's got a Tenet in it.
Yeah. As Scrooge.
It's neat.
Yep. Not going to get drugged down this rabbit hole. Just go watch it. There's some good stuff on Disney XD. They're not sponsoring this, by the way. I just genuinely enjoy their programming. Anyways, before we move on to strategy and have some fun talking about the stupid things that we're doing right now, trying to get loot boxes, we want to thank our patrons supporting this podcast over at patreon.com/ITN. This episode, thank you to Neuros X, Josh S, Jake A, Vorsitzender is how I'm going to choose to pronounce that, and Kevin C. Thank you all very much for supporting this podcast, and thank all but one of you for having relatively easy to pronounce names this week.
Hey, thank them all. Thank everybody, because we re-hit our dunk train goal this week.
Yes, that's the big news, right? Like, we went over, we got some new patrons. I saw a bunch of current patrons upping their pledges, which was not what our intention was, but thank you nonetheless. And we are now healthily back over the dunk train goal, which doesn't mean don't support the show if you want to. Please do, by all means. It means when it dips back down, we don't go back below the goal. But yeah, so we're gonna get Dunk on. I've been poking him about his Blizzcon schedule, and Kyle, I think I'm not making promises. I think we might be able to get Jeff, Dunk, you, and I all in the same room to record a Blizzcon episode.
I believe we can do it.
Yeah, I don't know where it will be. It might just be in a hotel room, and when no one else might not be able to attend, but we'll figure it out. But thank you very much, patrons. And again, if you enjoy the show, patreon.com/ITN. That is the best way to support us. So check it out. Consider giving whatever works for you. Now, let's have some fun in our strategy segment this week.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ha, that seems generous.
Yeah, no clue what that means.
All right, Kyle, we've both been let's be honest. You had your moment of try-hard glory at the top of the show where you got to lord over us how great you've been with Uther.
Not my intention, but yes.
just roll with it. Now let's take 5 big steps back, and let's be honest. What does anyone care about right now in Heroes of the Storm? It's Halloween loot boxes. That's all anyone. That's the real hardcore. That's the hardest core, the deepest cut of the Heroes audience right now.
I wouldn't feel like myself if I didn't say there are fabulous resources being made right now. I have included tons and tons of links in the show notes for this episode. If you're interested in improving your play, a lot of players, as they are not competing in HGC, have started making videos and guides. It's a great time to learn how to be better at Heroes. All right, I'm done. It's there if you want it. There's lots of good resources. Let's talk about Quick Match.
Yeah, let's do it, because Kyle, here's the thing. I hate buying loot boxes. I hate it. It's like Indiana Jones and snakes. Not a fan. Or Ragnaros and water, or whatever. Indiana Jones and losing his hat. We'll just stay on Indiana Jones.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't like buying them. So, as I mentioned last week, I've been sorting my hero pool by closest to level and just hitting go! Which means I've played like 4 Medivh games. All were losses. What other weirdness I've been up to? But really, I know we've both been doing this. And I wanted to, what have you stumbled onto? What do you actually, when you sort it by closest to level, you're mostly going to heroes that you don't play a lot of. Every now and then, especially right now, you cycle through, and I ended up on a Nubarak. I was like, how is he closest to level? But I've played him a ton. But eventually, you'll wear that list down. But, what lesser played heroes have you been grinding out XP on that you've kind of realized that you love?
Artanis was one of them. He was sitting close to level last week. I've enjoyed him since he came out, but right around the time of his release is when I started doing Team League with the core guys, particularly John Jagger loves Artanis, and the fanboydom I can't compete with. So I just let him have it. And I've got this thing where I don't play my friends' heroes because I don't want to be in their heads. I want them to be the experts when I ask them what they want in the comp. Not micromanage them. So I sort of leave a void. But he was ready to level, and I made some sweet swaps and won 2 games in a row. And lo and behold, he's number 3 on my roster right now. I am loving Artanis.
That's awesome. And you're attributing, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of that to Garrosh play, right? It's a lateral move. I want to displace the enemy team, and they banned or took Garrosh. How do I make that happen without him?
Exactly. There's lots of double support rolling around, so with your shields padding it out as well, because you're not going to get the focus of the double support. That's for the carry assassin. But the fact that the tank just kind of keeps going, and no one really wants to target the tank in the league I'm in, you can get in that back line and just start wrecking. And I love how fluid he is. I love the swaps, the long range swap, the backward swap where you go the opposite direction, throw your mouse forward, throw out the warp prism through the front, and do it, well, basically backwards and displace them into your team rather than doing the long forward one. There's so many cool ways to do this. You can do it kind of sideways. There's a shock value to it, too, and people want to run. If you can get your Artanis on that squishy, they will run, and hey, you just cut DPS.
Yep. They get freaked out. Lord knows I do. Apparently so does your gray man.
That's, yeah. I don't like things in my face. That's probably why I'm so bad at Dark Souls.
Yeah. Last week I think I mentioned Hammer a little bit. I think I'm going to start things off with Hammer as I'm going to slot under the stupidest hero I have ever had a lot of fun with recently.
Hammer?
Yeah, man. I don't know why you'd ever take her on purpose, like as an intelligent decision, but when it finally works, when you finally end up in that perfect situation where Hammer can actually function, and in quick match that is slim to none, it's beautiful. There's nothing more great in this world than actually being able to siege, being safe while you're sieged and landing hits.
I would say that Hammer is extremely viable on things like Battlefield of Eternity. I, in fact, leveled here this week as well. And I found that she's just Raynor with a button you should ignore. Kind of like Raynor, how he has that button you ignore because it's self-activating. Don't ever siege. Just play her like Raynor, chase people down, and then in the late game, usually at 16, you can finally press that siege button for some great oppression. You can do it earlier than that if you have a proper comp, right? But really, you can play safety Hammer.
Yeah.
You just need to not siege.
Right. And it's just kind of funky, and it doesn't come naturally to people who don't usually play Hammer. I'm one of them. So I wanted the siege, and eventually I just stopped doing it, started playing her like Raynor, went a lot better, and you're absolutely right. But I'm filing her under stupid because it's just like, man, this could be such an impressive hero if I had the perfect comp, but I'm never going to be in a position where I'm going to convince 4 other people to build a composition around Sergeant Hammer.
I think you can do it on Battlefield Eternity if you really want to.
I don't.
And it wouldn't be that hard.
I'd rather, after today, I'd rather just play Rexar, who's my like right underneath, number 2. Loving Rexar right now.
Hammer for Battlefield Eternity to me is so good because there is no question about where you need to be. There's only 2 lanes. The map is small. Cursed Hollow, though, horrible. I'm horrible, Hammer, because it's my Dahaka, it's my Brightwing problem. I see something across the map, and I boost there, or I teleport or dig, and then I'm off rotation, and the thing's in the top, and I'm stuck in the bottom.
Yeah, and she's so slow. She feels just stuck in molasses for the entire game, because that boost is not available enough.
Well, and you're just another player on any of these other maps, but Battlefield, you are the volley, you're the focus, and the Zarya's peeling for you, and everyone's around you, pushing people back.
Yeah, very map-dependent pick, and that's why she's just bonkers in quick match, because you're spinning the roulette wheel and hoping for the best.
Now, you mentioned Rexar, who I also took to a level in a game that I haven't played Rexar in a long, long time. In fact, his win rate is in the top 10 for many of our current EuroLeague maps.
He's really good, and I never thought he'd be something I'd enjoy, because I hate Lost Vikings, Kyle. I hate them with a passion. And I was always in the camp of, if you remove one Viking, but also remove a great degree of the nuance of control, I don't think you end up with a better hero.
I see what you're saying.
Because you don't have as much control over Misha as you do the individual Vikings. But I stand corrected. I'm not even like gonna poke at Rex or make fun of him like I kind of want to with Hammer. I think he's just good. and I should play him more.
And it fits the current meta because we're seeing so much ETC right now. And basically, you have a tiny ETC on a leash. A little power slide out there.
Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't really think about that, but I have been playing ETC again. That actually had nothing to do with this event. I just needed another tank. And going back to Johanna just seemed ill-advised. So I've been back on the ETC, and I didn't even realize that that's what made me connect the dots on when to use Misha Charge.
I saw it even in our games today. I was on Tracer leveling it up, you were on Rexar, and you would send Misha to the back line and then power slide back towards the team with Misha.
Yeah.
Just like you would with an ETC.
Yep. I wasn't thinking that far ahead. I was sending it on whatever squishy was closest, so that would put him behind the tank, which was Diablo in this case. And then when Diablo charged me, then I was like, okay, Misha, come back, stun the Diablo, so I survive.
Well, do you want more credit? You're basically saying you've mastered some muscle memory. You've gotten it in there. It's not a conscious thought anymore. You're doing the correct thing naturally.
Yeah, and I used to struggle with Rexar like crazy. If I can just give one single tip, make friends with Alt-D. It's just the self-cast for Misha to return to you. It's fantastic.
Does help.
Yeah.
By the way, we're getting a report right now that apparently the Kerrigan-Mouthfield comp won again. So expect a lot of Kerrigans in your Hero League coming up.
Oh, Lord. Oh, so am I? I just turned to it. I haven't been paying attention because I'm recording a podcast. So is this a replay of a play or? Because Kerrigan.
The second time Tempo Storm, I believe, drafted that comp, perhaps.
Okay. Gotcha.
Not again yet. So 2-level lead at the moment.
2-level lead. Yeah, it's 11-9 in favor of Tempo Storm. And
I don't want to enter another Kerrigan meta. It was so taxing to have this. I don't want to be Kerrigan, and everyone's like, I don't know. You know, we go through so many different metas, and sometimes you just don't want to take the hero.
Yeah, I always kind of liked it because when Kerrigan was hot, I was all over Kael'thas, and it was fun just gravity lapsing her and murdering her dead. But sometimes you end up on Infernal Shrines, and there's a lot of skeletons between you and Kerrigan.
Which has been well nursed for her. It's not as powerful as it once was.
Yeah, but if everyone knows how to play with the Kerrigan and empower her, it doesn't matter that her effectiveness on Infernal Shrines has been nerfed slightly. She's now a still pretty good hero on that map with a team that actually understands how to make her shine.
Yeah, really nuanced though. You don't wander onto Kerrigan in some sort of off pick.
No. Unless you're me right now trying to get Halloween boxes. And finding
There
that
you
I'm
go.
not half bad at the Kerrigan combo.
You know, I've actually found that with Ragnaros this week, that I'm not half bad.
I found the opposite. I'm not a great Ragnaros.
Really?
No, I'm not. I am when I play with you because there's at least one other person also helping control the map, so it's less likely I get ganked because you're also being loud somewhere, which lets me go and do my job. But in solo games by myself, I'm just getting killed.
Interesting. What do you mean by your job?
Of clearing lanes and getting XP.
Oh, okay. So you're sort of treating him like an Asmodan and maybe overstaying your welcome a bit.
Not as much as I feel like I would on an Asmodan or a Zagara. I'm not pushing up the walls if I can help it, but I don't know. I always struggle with him. I'd rather be on Thrall.
I think Ragnaros really comes together. Just pick whatever the heck you want along the way. I've been doing a meatball build. Spell Shield Fire Ward is really helpful in quick match where there's Genjis and Limings everywhere. But Hand of Ragnaros is my must pick at 7. This is the one where if you hit 2 heroes, you get mana back and the cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds, putting in Power Sulfuris, your heal on a 2-second cooldown. Whatever build you do that. And if you're playing quick match, Lava Wave gets XP, gets you a lead that you can hold for an 11 to 13 win kind of scenario.
This is what I didn't say earlier because I knew it was going to come up here. It was Kyle's current philosophy is you want to win quick match, it's all in the XP. Just pick Ragnaros and go Lava Wave.
XP and one trick as to how to win a team fight. I maybe it's me, but the stats back me up. I cannot get a win out of Haka in quick match. I do not know what I'm doing. Maybe I don't. It's missing that element. It's missing that surprise kill. The one surprise kill for me on Dahaka's kit is that you can reduce the cooldown of your drag with auto attacks. And if someone is aware of how long they can 1v1 a Dahaka, with the cooldown on drag being 15 seconds, maybe you can get a surprise there. But for the most part, the guy is getting out-farmed, out-pushed, and having to go get Essence is basically another quest like Nazeebo for me. I'm not going to do it.
All right. Fair enough. All right. I have one last hero I want to mention. And I'm going to be eating some humble pie. Kyle, I think the hero that I've been leveling, that I have been enjoying the most by a landslide victory, I am loving playing this hero, is Ana.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a bit of a change from your, staple, I'd say, of Arthas's and, Trundle Shoulders, basically. You're a Trundle Shoulders player. Kael'thas, Arthas.
Yeah, man. I was full hipster, dude. I was just staying off her because anyone wanted to play was Ana. She lost me so many games in my hero league when she came out. I just hated her. And then Halloween loot boxes hit, and I'm just like, hey, you know who's level 1 and I can level up and get a bunch of loot chests real fast? Ana. And then just start playing her and realize that she's really fun and super effective, and I'm an ass with Sleep Dart. It's great.
That's what you have to be.
Well,
everyone takes that. I believe you have unlocked the secret of Ana, and congratulations, you're a pro Ana now.
The secret of Ana is the overquest. Always take that one Sleep Dart quest and just Sleep Dart all the time, whether it's the correct decision or not.
Pretty much. Enjoy. Don't feel bad. But that's my problem with Sleep Dart, is it's 4 seconds. And I am taking, 3 seconds, but I'm taking some dude's night. He worked all day for it, Garrett. Comes home at the end of his long day, and you want to remove 3 seconds from it. You want to steal his game time. A root, maybe even a silence. I know I've done some horrible things with, I'm swapping people in the back lines. That's not nice of me. I'm wholly shocking. All these things aren't nice, but something about putting someone to sleep for 3 seconds while the nano-boosted Li Ming lines up her perfect skill shots just breaks my heart, and I can't do it. But I'm happy you can, because I'd like to be that nano-boosted Li Ming.
All right, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Maybe we can make it happen in the after show game tonight.
I like it.
Maybe. But maybe not, because anytime we talk about doing anything on the show, our patrons on the opposing team hard counter what we talked about on the show.
That's true. They like to win.
They do. They really do. I don't blame them. So, any other final mentions for you, sir?
Got on Stitches.
Oh.
I was thinking that maybe a little... all the burping and farting always keeps me away from him, but I just need a Robo Stitches skin. Hooks are sweet, and I don't think I'm going to go Stitches just because my own personal enjoyment, but having that Garrosh Artanis through line is starting to make me think I might need that one more just in case. What I really learned this week from it, though, is that re-engages with a hook are way, way easier and way better to do than any sort of sweet pick hook.
Yeah.
That's luck a lot of the times and experience. Having engagement where Rexar turns into a dog and starts running away and you just go, no, you don't, that's effective.
Yep. Kind of the same, everything. Rewind to the beginning of the show. Everything we were talking about, why Lucio is effective. When they route and you want to chase them down and get another kill.
We talked about Lucio so much last week. Of course, I continued leveling him, but my big stink in my week of leveling is Junkrat. I think I've been working too hard to get my focus damage up, to target the right targets, to make sure that what I'm doing is the correct thing with the Divine Shield and the right target and the stun and the heals and all, and I just can't shoot randomly into an enemy team. It's why I'm off Nazeebo. I know he's got a spider build that's targeted, but it feels lucky. With this past weekend, though, with the team, I ran some awesome Junkrat combos. I think my favorite was Blackheart's Bay, where we put Junkrat in the top lane to double soak. And he can beat Azul. That lane clear is incredible. The problem is if you reach a building, you're done. But because he's managing 2 lanes so close together, he just kept bouncing between the two. The interrupts at the turn-in. There are places I really, really like Junkrat, and I think he has a great spot as almost one of those Nazeebo, maybe even Gul'dan kind of pokers. A lot of damage. A lot of siege damage, too, as long as it's in the lane. But I don't want to be him. And I can't even make myself get that 3rd level loot box.
Ooh, wow, okay. Fair enough.
It's for other people.
Yeah.
And I'm okay when we're, like, planning it. But there's been a couple of Hero League losses this week where I've had, like, a Junkrat and a Li Ming.
Ooh.
And double tank. And you just go, what are we going to do with this?
How does this happen?
Who's targeting what?
Why? How did we get here? And at the end, you're just like, I don't know what I expected. Well,
should have nano boosted it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm having a really good time with heroes right now, and it's with a bunch of stuff, except Ana aside, that has been in the game for quite a while, and even Ana at this point has been in the game for a while.
So in my experiment here, I took Artanis into my own. He has become one of my children. Have you added officially to your roster?
No, but that's because I've still sworn off Hero League.
Fair enough.
Had too many poor experiences. Junkrat's here to increase those poor experiences. And it's just not for me right now. BlizzCon's here. I have enough stress. I don't need to have stress while I'm trying to enjoy myself.
Perhaps during your Ana heydays wouldn't be the best time for a Hero League jaunt.
No, I'm finally coming around on the hero. Although I could just pick her. Although right now it's double support, and I probably wouldn't mind an Ana as much because I probably would go in and just start playing another support. I might be the Uther alongside an Ana. Who knows? But yeah, no, I'm having a really good time, and I don't see any reason to change what I'm doing. Have fun, folks.
I like it.
BlizzCon's here, and things are about to get real weird. They've been weird, but they're about to stay weird. All right, let's wrap this up with an email.
Darkness stopped calling.
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
You may send your emails to itncast@gmail.com, and I'd like to remind you one last time to send them in before Monday, Mischief Night, October 30th, so that Kyle and I can do one last big BlizzCon prediction episode. So send in your BlizzCon predictions, your hopes, your dreams. Hell, even what you don't want to see, what you really don't want to see. I'm worried about an overabundance of Overwatch. That's what I'm concerned about.
So Reinhardt, that's just sitting there.
That's the one thing, though, right? Yeah, if they come out and they're just like Reinhardt, I'm gonna be screaming and jumping up and down in a really happy way because I love me some Reinhardt and I want him in this game.
First of all, our Overwatch team still kind of sucks. It's got Zarya and D.Va on it, and if you go quick matching an Overwatch team, it thinks you don't have a tank at all, and you're gonna get wrecked.
Yep,
I can assure you, it's tough to pull off. Give us a real tank. I'd love it.
Yeah, it's a hard time. It's a hard time. So, anyways, Drunken Afro Panda writes in. I had to think about that one for a second. And says, "Hi guys. First off, love the show, and because of your advice, I have smashed Hero League and placed Diamond 3. Congrats, Drunken Afro Panda. I currently have an issue of trying to explain how to counter Varian to my friends who claim as it is not as simple as it seems due to his parry and Twin Fury build. I try to explain the 8-second cooldown, but it is not enough. They tilt quite often when he is in a game due to if the enemy team snowballs with his Twin Fury. This is also in quick play, so we are not choosing a counter at Champ Select, and when he is in the game with Morales, please give me some of your great wisdom."
All right. Countering Varian. It's an interesting block on so many people's climbs. Same with the Butcher, too. Like, what do you even do against this? How do you beat it? And clearly, he's already explained the parry. He said it was on an 8-second cooldown. There are 2 charges. They might need to know that part to make sure that they can execute it correctly. But the number one reason why Varians are unkillable is his level 7 talent, Live by the Sword. In fact, all his level 7s have some sort of survivability, some sort of healing to it. Victory Rush is based on enemies dying in lane, so if or minions and monsters dying in lane, he gets health back. So if you're fighting Varian in lane and everything's exploding around him, he's healing. That's something you have to account for. Fury Variants like to go Second Wind, where their auto attacks heal them for a base % of their health. That can be a problem too, but you're still really countering Fury Varian in the same way you would normally. Locking him down, kiting him so that he's not touching you, and getting that bonus speed and regenerating that health. if you're doing all the sort of bases to lock Varian down and he's still surviving, it is 100% live by the sword that you are playing into. Increase the duration of parry by 40%. If at least 4 hero basic attacks are blocked with a single parry, the cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds. These 4 hero basic attacks don't need to come from the same hero. He just needs to block 4 of them. Well, there are certain heroes really good at this. Tracer, Genji. In fact, people that Varian is often drafted. He's not drafting here. He's playing with friends. But characters that are often countered by a Varian pick in the first place. So it's a very powerful draft pick in that way. But you have to control yourself. And it's hard to do. If Varian's running away from you and you feel like you're finally in a situation, let's say it's the perfect scenario. Everybody's dead but Varian. And he's running away, and you've got a 2v1 on him. Everybody has to cut auto attacks during the parry, or you will lose. You will reset it. And remember, this is only heroic basic attacks. So if you see Varian trying to Fury solo one of your keeps, and he's parrying all the way through it, he's got 2 charges. So be ready, because the second he uses both of those charges, they're gone. There's no way for him to refresh him, and you can burn him fast as Fury Varian. It's really during the parries you have to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're already on the right page. You just need to beat it into their heads. And also run a stun. I mean, I know you're not drafting, but if you're playing with multiple friends, bring at least 1 stun with you.
Yeah, some sort of removal is good too. You can do that with Stukov and an arm. You can do that with a web blast. Just something to remove his element, because he's not always winning the fight. Sometimes he is. Sometimes he's the highest damage thing over there. But it's kind of like that Artanis or that Sonya. The fact that it is inside your backline is stopping the entire team from focusing, completing the engagement correctly, and then dealing with the Varian.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. Silences are great too. I don't, besides...
Silences are amazing.
Silences are amazing, but there's not a lot of heroes that have them that I enjoy kind of just playing for fun and quick match. I'm not just carrying my Malfurion around just like, yeah, let's have some fun. Malfurion. That doesn't happen. And was Stukov, but he dies really easy now. So I haven't been playing a lot of him.
I mean, I have succeeded with Stukov still after the nerfs. It's very scary because your arm is in the ground doing almost no damage. As you scream at your computer, please die before I die. And this completes. But yeah, it works. If you have friends, it works. And that's basically the truth of it. Varians beat with friends. And Butcher's 1v1, the Fury Varian wins as long as he did his parries correctly. If the Butcher controls himself and avoids attacking him, Butcher's going to lose the Butcher's mark and stop regenerating. So it really is a lose-lose scenario for most 1v1s with a Fury Varian.
Yeah. But good luck out there. My final tip, take Varian. Just play him.
Or Ana, actually.
Yes.
Ana's incredible. She can do so many things for something that is being carried by its own self-healing or self-support. In that Uther Ana game I had, they had a Malthael. And granted, it was luck that the player was last pick showing Ana from the beginning of the draft. But then they picked a Malthael, and I was just like, oh, so good. The grenade's going to turn off every bit of that healing. And he's going to dive in there with a Tormented Soul with nothing but armor going for him.
Yep. We need to take a quick break, Kyle, because Tempo Storm just 2-0'd CE back, which means they're second place. They're moving out of Group A. Tempo Storm and MVP Black are your top 2 out of Group A.
Oh, that's fantastic. And they did it with the Malthael Kerrigan?
Yep. I need to go back and watch that game because I looked over at it while we were talking about Drunken Afro Panda's game, and I could have sworn that I saw no keeps down for CE and a keep down on the side of Tempo Storm, and I was thinking, oh boy, it looks like they may have figured it out and tied it up because the levels were even. And
no way, Tempo Storm's the meta hope.
Yeah,
look at this comp they ran on Warhead Junction. It's got Vala and Li Ming. Am I confused, or is that 2 assassins? if everyone wants to argue the semantics again, there's a Sonya on there too, 3 bruiser, whatever. There's 1 healer and 1 tank on this comp. And granted, they did do second support for the Tomb of the Spider Queen game here.
Wait,
but they went...
Warhead Junction, it's saying, oh, it might have been a typo what I'm looking at. I'm looking on Team Liquid and they have Lili and Vala, not Li Ming.
Oh,
And Vala.
I'm going to trust MasterLeague.net here.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume that they didn't run Lili.
I'm going to assume they didn't run Lili as well.
Yes, I think the chat can help us out there too. But this comp they ran next on Tomb of the Spider Queen is that same one we talked about earlier. It's a Malfurion Uther with a Muradin tank. But they did Kerrigan Malthael again with it. No poke outside of some Moonfires and maybe a Holy Shock.
All right, no. Like we have like 10 confirmations in chat room. It was Lili, not Li Ming.
No way.
They ran a Lili, 1,000 cups Lili. Oh my God.
So MasterLeague.net was like, that can't be right.
Or they're next to each other on the name chart and you accidentally click one.
Right. It's a simple misclick and they're moving as fast as they can.
Right, exactly. The fact that either of them are as updated as quickly as they are is blowing my mind.
No, that
sorry,
means
Kyle.
it was double support.
Sorry, Kyle. But that's okay, man. It's okay. Tomb of the Spider Queen, they still have 2 assassins. It's good. We're good. We're all good.
That's true.
2 assassins and a solo Muradin tank. That is some good old-fashioned Heroes of the Storm, Kyle Fergusson.
Okay.
And they got double support, but it's fine.
Okay, not every game has been double support. There have been some outliers, but they've lost for the most part, including Medivh Stukov. So that is a funny and very sad and exciting. I'm very mixed about the Lili pick.
I think it's great.
I'm happy for Lili.
I'm happy that Tempo Storm made it through, man. Good on them. Congrats, boys. I'm gonna have to go back and watch your games. I hope our real-time reactions were entertaining a little bit. So anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. Drunken Afro Panda, thank you again for your email. Good luck against those Twin Fury variants out there. They might be me sometimes. I love playing Twin Fury variant. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We will be back next week. The show will be going up a little later in the week, but again, if you show up live or you're concerned about getting your email in, we are recording on Monday before Kyle and I jump on airplanes and go. Are you flying again or are you driving?
Oh, I'm flying this year.
All right, sweet. Before we jump on airplanes and go to BlizzCon. So, yeah, see you then. A reminder again, if you are going to BlizzCon, you want to come out and say hi. We are doing our AMove TV / Frog Pants meetup at the Hilton Thursday night before BlizzCon, starting at 9 p.m. on the 4th floor of the Hilton in the Palace Verdes room right next door to World of Podcasts. Also, show up to Con Before the Storm because Kyle will be on the Heroes of the Storm panel, and I am moderating the Hearthstone panel. Again, I did that last year. That was a lot of fun. A lot of good photos out of that. Me being weird and handsy with my co-hosts.
Oh, the whole thing is awesome because we have such camaraderie among all of our fellow Heroes podcasters. And we got to do the summit with them for one, but now we all have, I love it. We all have our own little niches. We all have our own communities and they all interact with each other. So friendly. It's so different from what I think, the past with like even maybe World of Warcraft podcasts have been. People are so darn friendly and everyone you meet there is going to be amazing.
I want to do the summit again, but can we do it for like a week at a camp by a lake? It should be like a summer camp.
I agree. And we all bring our magic decks.
Yes. Oh man. Or just a couple unopened like full boxes and do some drafts.
Well, there you're avoiding the dictum of me bringing my old ass decks. So yes, let's do that.
I said nothing. That's all on you. All on you. But
I agree though. I don't want to get fireballed for 8 in some combo and then it happens 3 more times because you have some tunnel space artifact bull.
All I know
and the
is
edges and the colors are all weird because it's from that previous edition. Nice Tempest cards.
Here's all I know about playing Magic against Mr. Kyle Fergusson with his pre-made BS decks. Your graveyard was thicker than your actual deck until it wasn't, because your graveyard was then just your board.
Yes, I was casting from it. I love death abilities. I love Leoric. I love Uther. I like Diablo's Devil Do in the past. I think tactical death is fascinating.
Fair enough. Well, it's going to wrap it up for the show.
In Uther.
What?
It.
Oh, in Uther. Yeah.
Yeah, you just go, I'm out of mana, and you go nuts. You just go slamming into that enemy side.
You run out there like Heath Ledger's Joker. Hit me. I want you to hit me.
Exactly. Reminds me of my old BC days on my priest.
And then right before you die, you hit him with an Obi-Wan quote of, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. You turn into a ghost and you tell your team, go nuts.
Exactly. And you keep pinging that you have that res. So on the other side, they know you're going to come up and they don't all run scared. Doesn't always work, but
I want a new quote for Uther. For when he dies, he yells to the other 4 members of his team, balls to the walls, heroes.
Even just in that Uther voice, like, oh, worth.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah. Worth it.
If you are in our community here and you're looking for perhaps a more cheery place to watch the HGC throughout the weekend, I do host it over at my channel, twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson. Lots of people there hanging out, watching it today, with no Kappa faces, which is nice.
Well, light Kappa faces.
Well, yeah, we all have a good time, you know? It's good to be a little sarcastic here and then.
Yeah, but you're not trying to read the Matrix.
Exactly.
The sometimes racist Matrix.
The profane Matrix.
Yes, exactly. That's going to do it for the show. Thanks again to our badass patrons out there supporting Into the Nexus by heading on over to patreon.com/ITN and donating whatever works for you per episode. You are all awesome. Extra super special thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H., Cheesy Bob, and Myth Doll. You are all awesome. We can't thank you enough. Into the Nexus swag can be found at shirts.amove.tv. That is our t-shirt store. Go and check that out. We got the Into the Nexus t-shirt for sale up over there. And you can catch us live typically Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv. That is not true for the next 2 weeks. We have our pre-Blizzcon episode going up probably Wednesday of next week, and the week after that will be our live recording from Blizzcon, which will go up again a little bit later in the week to keep the schedule release in time with what we usually do. And then we will be back in 3 weeks' time on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, as usual. By the way, if you don't want to remember all that, just follow ITNcast on Twitter for our schedule updates. And that's going to do it. Kyle, where can folks find you?
This week I will advertise those lessons I'm doing with Jeff Kanata. You should check them out, particularly if it's your league. It's a great opportunity to see how you can influence lower league play, silver, bronze, through body language, through tactful speaking in the draft, perhaps. Lots of cool stuff. Really enjoying helping Jeff Kanata out. That is live only. There's no VOD of this at all. So you have to catch it live. It's hot lunch. Cute name. It's noon
Kyle.
at Caffeine.
I was just saying ooey.
What was that?
I was saying ooey, Kyle, because I thought you were done.
You know,
and you weren't, and I'm an ass.
Caffeine.tv/Jeff Kanata. Noon Pacific only and 100% live. I am using that fully real-time service to join him in his own EuroLeague game. So really cool opportunity for some coaching there. Check it out.
That's some awesome stuff. Folks, I'm on Garrett. I'm on Twitter at GarrettArt. My name is currently Garrett Weinzierl for the Halloween season. If you're searching, that's it. That's me. You found it. amove.tv is the place to go for all of the podcasts that I produce, including this one. Might I recommend, again, embrace the spoilers. Go and give it a listen. Jocelyn and myself spoiling pop culture movies. We're currently doing horror films. Friday the 13th, the original one, going up this Monday. And you can backtrack and listen to Kyle join us and spoil Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It's a really fun episode. Beyond that, I also have my solo podcast, The Angry Nerd. Go and check that out. My most recent episode covered things like Shadow of War and how jacked up fireside gatherings are right now, and how I'm hoping for some changes, and actually there are some changes that were announced today, and it's looking like it's heading in a really solid direction. So good on Team 5 for that. So enjoy. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you all for listening, and until next time, good luck and have fun.
Take care.